Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Gregory Gobert from Nexthink. Welcome and thank you for being here on this second webinar on the series with Exceed Golf and Nexthink about smarter IT with analytics. So right now, everybody is on mute mode. So if you have any questions and any kind of interrogation you have for this webinar, just please use the chat system, which is on the GoToWebinar system, so I can actually have a look at all the questions and keep them for the last part. So this presentation will be divided into 3 sections. There's going to be a quick first introduction about the end user IT analytics. Then there will be a live demo about the system, so you can actually see live what's going on with the IT analytics system from Nexthink. And the last part will be the Q&A, the questions and answers for whatever kind of idea you still have about this system. So don't hesitate to use the chat from this webinar system so I can have a look at all the questions remaining for the last part of this webinar. So for this first part, let's have a look at the IT analytics topic. Nexthink will provide an improvement of your IT governance in 3 topics: security, ITSM, and transformation. Today, we're going to focus only on ITSM. So the first basic questions, it's a word we hear a lot about right now in the IT industry, is analytics. So why do we need analytics? The major issue is that we need to have more visibility on our IT environment, because right now you cannot secure, improve, or change if you don't see clearly what's going on. And we don't want to be in a reactive mode when you have to fix an existing problems when it's actually out of proportion already. You want to be able to see real-time what's going on your IT. It's a major challenge for the IT industry right now because for the last years, we've seen an increasing complexity of the IT environments. 10 years ago, it was only about a couple of web servers, a couple of machines, and simple network. Right now, we have tons of different servers, complexity with load balancing, and especially more and more applications that we have to provide. At the same time, we also have a massive end-user experience feedback. We need to take care about the way end users are using their IT. And this is the problem. Our IT is getting extremely complex with different integration and different addition to our system for the last years. For example, we have bring your own devices, which is a massive challenge for the IT departments. We have access to the cloud services. And now the access to our services is not just from the desktops in our sites, it's also from any kind of mobile environments. So the IT department has a massive complexity increase for the last years. And the problem is we have a complete gap between the end user experience and what we actually see in the back end. For many, many years, we invested massively in monitoring, managing, and controlling the backend environment. So in many cases, you can have a ticket open by end user located in anywhere in the world saying I cannot access my applications, when on the other side, the IT department checking his backend environment only sees green lights. So we need to have an understanding of what is the user going through to understand where the problem lies. So how do we do this? This is where we need analytics. Analytics is the idea that we need to gather information from a lot of different sources, but we don't want you to spend a lot of time filtering it manually. We need to have intelligence and algorithm to kind of get the idea and the trends to figure out the probable cause of your issues. There are many, many actors right now trying to get into this industry, but the major name, like you have Splunk, for example, which is doing great analytics on the server side. You have ExtraHoop, for example, doing this on the network, but on end user side, there's only one provider for this, and that is Nexthink. So what does Nexthink does about analytics? This is one new way to monitor the system. We actually have, on the data centers, you probably already have monitoring solutions and controlling solutions. You have the same for the network, and on the desktop right now, the only thing you have is probably desktop management solutions like SCCM. That will allow you to control what to deploy and have an inventory list, usually by scanning the environment of what's going on your end user side. But there's no real time and there's no full view. The difference with Nexthink is that we're actually going to have the complete view of the end user experience from the end user asking the request to the backend and back. So we have the full real user experience complete scope. We're going to be able to tell you what user is using what device, and on that device what binary is being used on what port to what destination. And this is real time, and this is a complete view of it. Any kind of EXE, any kind of application you're using, being for a client server application or a web-based application, we're going to actually follow every single activity happening on this user. So the idea for this is, what's the goal? What do we want to achieve? We're having such a comprehensive and detailed monitoring system. The idea for ITSM, we need to provide better visibility, because you need to understand what's going on the system to be able to take actions and fix possible problems. So the idea of Nexthink is really to give you the full visibility of what's going on in a real-time mode on the end user point. It's also a matter of having what I call the new source of truth, because the technology that we use at Nexthink will gather information from the endpoint on a very light system and without any modification possible till it's displayed to all the decision makers of the IT departments. So you can have this kind of audit style information which is not filtered, which is not aggregated, or you have the full view to have complete reports if you need to do some compliance and to have the complete understanding of the situation. But the best benefit of Nexthink is that it's going to improve dramatically the way you do your support and the way you help your end users. Because by having a full visibility of your support, of your endpoints, you're going to be able to enhance the support with them by having a complete view of the details of the issues, and sometimes even being more proactive. Because when you're going to start detecting trends, you're going to be able to detect in advance or before a problem becomes massive, to be able to detect the problem and fix it. And even in some cases, be able to warn the end user specifically, proactively, to tell him, your machine is about to have an issue, we fixed the problem, so now you're safe. In terms of capacity management and end user satisfaction, this is where the entire IT system makes more sense when you have one central place to control the use of your services and the performance of the system. Right now, you probably have multiple systems for the backend to give you a network side, a performance side of the use of your system. But you need to have one easy system to make a decision where all the key indicators, all the KPIs for your system are gathered in one place in an easy-to-use system. The use of Nexthink, when we have a look at a survey of most of the customers in the last years, what we see, just to give you a few examples, we see a complete reduction of the end user incidents by 25%. This is the consequence of being more proactive about tickets. Example, if one day you have an Exchange issue, the first person opening a ticket will give you the alert on some very specific cases, and then before it reaches the global IT environment, you're going to be able to fix and find an issue and find a solution to this problem before everybody is impacted. So the number of tickets resulting of this will be dramatically lower. Also, by having the full visibility of your IT environment, you're going to be able to resolve the problem way faster. Right now, let's say you have a customer calling you, opening a ticket, telling you his machine is slow. The basic process to resolution right now would be to send an engineer on site to have a look at the problem. By the time you do this, even ignoring the cost, the extra cost it has, sometime by the time you arrive there, the problem is gone, or it's never really clear what happened. And when the customer says, I never did anything, we know that sometimes, not even intentionally, something happened in the background of the machine, having a heavy consequence on the performance of this machine. So by having a live, real-time connection to that machine and understanding the history of this machine in one simple screen, you're going to be able to reduce dramatically the time to resolution. So all your tickets will be dramatically shorter to resolve. So better than just talking about it, what I can do is showing to you a live environment of the Nexthink platform to demonstrate a couple of scenarios that may happen to you on a daily basis in your environment. So let me switch to my live environment. So right now, so the Linux platform, not to be too technical about it, is a Linux appliance, software appliance. Right now I've got running on my machine, and I'm going to access it in two different ways. So the first way to access the information is to access from the website. So we have this very smart brain on the Linux system that we call the Nexthink engine. And the first way you can do is access on the website hosted on this machine, and you're going to have a web access to the information of your environment. Now, the first thing you need to understand on this platform is that most of the things you see right now are templates that come out of the box of the solution. So when you deploy the system, after a few hours only, you're going to start having all those kind of dashboards. Right now, you're going to see different tabs. I'm going to go through some of them quickly, but I'll show you in more practical ways how you can actually solve problems by having a look at this. So here you can have, for example, on the ITSM tab, and again, you can customize anything you see here. There are templates, but depending on your business and your specific needs, we can customize any single widgets that you see on the screen right now. So this is a good example here. This ITSM view will give you on that dashboard the live status of any of your key systems in your environment. For example, ERP, SAP, any kind of CRM. This is completely customizable. In that case, ERP, we're having a little issue here. We're having 15%, and this is a live view, by the way, here. 15% on the users having issues. So I can always easily start having more details about it. For example, here, this problem started at like 9 a.m. this morning. And by having some drill down, I can have a look where exactly it's going on to have just more understanding. Everything is clickable. Everything is interactive. I can just click easily on any kind of numbers, and I'm going to have more information about this. I can have ratios, and I can have also the usage of any kind of this service. So any information related to my ERP can be hosted here into one single widget. Okay, but we still have the issue here. So this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go to the second tool we have to access the Nexthink knowledge base. It's the Finder. The Finder allows you, it's a .NET client, it allows you to go deeper into the forensics information to have a clear understanding of what happened. So my portal here on the web told me I've got an access on my ERP. So I'm going to simply ask the system. Here I've got the smart search. I can just start typing a few examples. Let's say I want to see the use of my client's ERP today. So here, without programming anything, I'm going to have an easy-to-use list of suggestions. And here, for example, I want to check the binaries happening using ERP. So in my entire environment today, I had two versions of ERP.exe used. I've got the 12.0.65 and this 12.0.66. So because I've had some problems with the system, let's have a look. I want to have a look and go deeper into drill down and see, okay, what happened on this thing? I want to check the events and see when I had some errors. When I have a look at this, so it's all about crashes. So people using my ERP system had application crashes from the client. But when I look down in the binary version, it's only one version. So now I know that one version of my client is having an issue since this morning, 9 a.m. Everybody using this version is having connecting issue. So how do I become more proactive now? Because I just detected the system here. Since 9 a.m., I've got some issues, and now I know it's from one version of the client installed on my network. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply drill down easily in a few clicks. I'm going to have the list of all the devices with this version of ERP. And I have 16 machines that have been actually only today actively using the ERP. So what I can easily do, and this is something we can detail even later a little more, but the Nexthink platform is a great platform to use as a standalone, but it gets its full benefit when you start integrating this platform with other existing platforms. Like example, many IT departments use SCCM for deployment. What I can do here with a simple integration, I've detected those 16 machines right now using a bad version of my ERP. If I have an integration with SCCM, I can easily, from Nexthink, send a request to my SCCM to make that a collection. So the 16 machines will be automatically listed in SCCM so that my SCCM team can take action and remove this bad version of the client and replace it with the previous one, which is now not causing problem. So this is a good example on how, from a simple increase of the number of devices with errors from the web portal, I can easily drill down and have a look at all the machines that may not have the problem right now, but have a corrupted client or an incompatible client, and proactively send that request to my existing team of SCCM and fix it before more people get impacted. So this is the first example that in that case when it's an application issue. Now let's have a second example when you have a problem with your network issue. So I got the same view here that I've got for ERP, SAP from the web. I've got the very same organized view in my .NET client, the Finder. So let's have a look at the, just like ERP, I've got the SAP view. So this is a nice view that a lot of people appreciate from the NOC perspective, because it's going to give me in one screen the entire information of performance of this service. In that case, this is an SAP service, it's a web service, so my end users are accessing it through a browser. And here I've got the complete view of how many people are actually using this application right now. This is completely real time. Here I've got 62 people that have been using the service for the last 60 minutes. And because I'm aware of different subnets and different locations, I can show you the drill down by location on how my application is actually used. And it will give me information on various different levels. Here I've got information about the quality of the connections. So if I have people complaining that the access to SAP is very slow today, if it's not because they're part of a location with a slow response time. I can also check if it's an application issue, if I have some application crashes related to that. In that case, no, it's completely a network issue. So let's have a look here. I got 62 people that have been using my service in the last hour, and I've got 48 of them having connection issues. So here I have the complete drill down. I can always, with a simple right click, have more details about what devices exactly are having this issue. But the best way to display this when it's a network issue is to actually have a look at the very popular display of the diagram of Nexthink in terms of network. So this is a very easy to understand view of how your application is being used. You have those different levels, which is here I got my devices with different locations. Here I'm going to have the application they are using to access my SAP service. In that case, it's only one, which is Internet Explorer. But if I had people accessing it with Firefox or Chrome, I would see here different EXEs. They all use the same port, 8080, and they go through 3 different proxies to access my application, which is a URL in that case, sap.intra.com. So here I've got 3 proxies, an American proxy, a European proxy, and a Middle East proxy. Now, here on this view, I've got a lot of information to understand the usage of my application. Here I can have a look at my traffic. I can have a look again to the response time during the day to understand what's going on exactly. But in that case, we know we have some people having problems accessing my SAP. So I just have to filter on the failed connections. And when I have a look at this, something interesting is happening. I can see that all my failed connections in red are happening on one proxy. So people using the US proxy or people using the Middle East proxy are not having any failed connections. All failed connections are happening on the proxy level, on the European proxy. So this is a very good example from one single view here from one real-time view, and only by having a look at the endpoints, I can start understanding what's actually going on the back end. In that case, a proxy. So my quick resolution to this would be to, with a simple policy, maybe change temporarily everybody from Europe per proxy going to the US or the Middle East. By the time I fix the European proxy, I can restore the connection by that. So again, you may have some great tools to monitor the back end. You probably have some networking, filtering, and management tools for the back end, but it may all be green. Maybe this proxy right now is showing completely green status from the back end perspective, but you need to have an end user perspective to be able to understand the complete experience of the end users, because maybe it can be green physically in your system, but maybe we'll also have some end users having issues connecting to it. So this is why we need the full view of the system. Now to a more, let's have a third example. In that case, let me show you an example of a basic ticket. I mean, it's a simple, this is from ServiceNow, but again, our platform integrates with many different vendor systems, any kind of HP service management or LAN desk system, any kind of ticketing system, for example, we can integrate with it. This is an example of what a ticket looks like in ServiceNow when you have an integration with Nexthink. So they have the regular ticket, and here inside the ticket, we actually have live information to complement the information about this ticket. So in that case, I've got this user complaining that the machine is being extremely slow. And he wants to understand why. And it's something that's been happening apparently from a long time. Because here, when I look at the PC health, I can see the CPU usage. It's pretty bad. And it's not just a recent incident. It's been lasting for some time. So here what I can do easily is that I got the name of the machine here. So let's have a look in my Finder what happened on this machine. So if I have a look, I can have a direct access with a link, but I can just type in the name of the user or the name of the machine directly. When I do this, I'm going to have, again, suggestions about this, but I can just do one click on a device. And this is the second very popular view that Nexthink users are really enjoying, because this is a complete history of your machine on any machine being monitored by Nexthink. And when I say the complete history, it has everything happening in this machine, from the way it's being used, whatever is installed, what user is being connecting, as well as the complete list of properties on this machine. So one thing I can also do, this customer is complaining that this machine is slow. So I may want to compare his machine right now to the rest of my environment. So here, I can very easily have a look at what his CPU stands for compared to the rest of the company. Or is he having less RAM or more RAM than other people? So here I can compare easily, and even like the boot response time. All those kind of information in one click, you can have an understanding if this machine is having an exceptional issue or if it's a global issue from one complete section of my IT. In that case, this person is having a pretty healthy machines. But when I have a look at the timeline, and this is the complete detailed 48 hours, I can see, yes, he's actually having some high CPU, like it was mentioned on my ticket on ServiceNow. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to just have a look, because it's been lasting for some time. So let me zoom out so I can have a look of the last week, not just the last 48 hours, to try to find out the issue. So this has been happening for some time, so I'm going to go back in time a little more. The database size of Nexthink is dependable on how much capacity you give to it. You can have the history, the forensics of multiple weeks, multiple months without any issue. So let's have a look at this issue here. We're having this CPU issue, and I can see from the yellow text that it's been linked on Internet Explorer mostly for this problem of high CPU. And when I have a look at the beginning of the issue, it's the same time when we discovered new binaries installed on that machine. So since this person installed what looks like to be a media player, as long as a toolbar in the browser has had some high CPU usage. So easily I can just drill down on it. and have a look at the details. Now, it's one thing to know that some person is having some issue, but maybe it may be a more global issue. So I'll have to have a look to see if it's somewhere else. So I'm going to drill down on this, for example, this toolbar, and I'm going to have a look to see if it's installed on other machines. So I want to ask for the desktop, all the desktop with this package, to see if this guy is alone or if actually I have more installations on my network. So here I've got on 3 machines. So I got the machine of the person who opened the ticket, but I also have 2 other machines with the exact same package. So what I'm going to do to make sure and to confirm my doubt about this installation, I'm going to also drill down this machine and have a look at all the execution errors, if they also, the warning, if they happen on this machine, to see if I have the same. And here, this is it. I've got the exact same error involving also Windows Internet Explorer with the same consequence of a high CPU. So now what I can do, again, using a CCM, I know those 3 machines are having now CPU issues for some time because of this installed toolbar and media player. So again, with integration with CCM, I have the list of the 3 machines. I can easily export it with integration with CCM and just ask the CCM team to remove this toolbar from those 3 machines. So those are examples on how easily, just by having a simple view and a very smart system here, by searching any kind of thing you may want, you can have a proactive vision of any kind of problem you can have. So we're having the full visibility of devices, of all the binaries, all the servers you're accessing to, all the web domains, even your users are accessing. You can check on the traffic level, on the inventory level, and on the warning level, like any kind of thing that can happen on your environment. One thing we also monitor, because we have the complete visibility on the system, and something which is sometimes hard to understand, is the printers. We can actually have a complete view of how your printer system is being used, being virtual environment, local USB printers, or network printers. So if you're going through a green IT initiative, when you need to reduce the cost of your IT, this can be extremely valuable information to provide to your team to reduce the cost. All this technical information doesn't require any long training, whatever. All the analytics magic is that whatever is here is easily accessible from a few clicks. The system comes out of the box with hundreds of templates investigation. So in a matter of a few clicks, you can have a look, for example, of all the machines having more than 1 minute boot time. I can have machines like all the application using my traffic. So if you have doubts about how your traffic is being used, before you upgrade your network provider subscription to a stronger network, you can have a look if the traffic is actually being used by valid application or not. And this is for internal traffic as well as web traffic. All this information here that can be very technical is transformed automatically into the portal for decision maker visibility. Again, for a privacy reason, all those things is customizable. You can only have specific information being viewable by management, by the service desk team, anything. But here, you're going to have direct access to all this information, the live use of your production environment, directly into a dashboard. A couple of other examples. Here, for example, you can have, if you have a list of authorized application and a list of non-authorized application, you can keep track as a real-time thing on how people are actually using the service. Maybe Dropbox, OneDrive, or Google Drive is not allowed in your environment, so you need to keep track how the progress is happening here. Or if people are using Skype, any kind of link system, this gives you the full visibility, not only on how your IT is supposed to behave, but on actually how it is behaving live on your environment. So this was a quick overview on the system. So again, 2 main aspects on the Nexthink ITSM platform. You have the management platform that allows any decision maker to have a complete understanding without being too technical about the way the IT is used and where are the costs. and also a .NET tool called the Finder that will allow you to make, in a few clicks, extremely detailed investigation to understand the probable cause of any ticket that you're having. So quickly, based on the, just to go back to this for a few seconds before I can take your questions. So we saw that the benefits of Nexthink ITSM. The first part that I really want you to remember is that this is a solution that comes extremely easy to deploy because it comes with out-of-the-box investigation and templates. So when you deploy the system, you have a live information about all the key issues that any IT manager is facing. So, for example, if there is a security issue, or if, for example, if you want to have a complete understanding of how you stand against a breaking news security issue or ITSM issue. Let's take an example. When Microsoft announced last year that Windows XP was out of support, it was very complex for all the IT management to understand if they were compliant or not, and if they had an issue, how many XP machines they were using, what was the budget to do this. So to understand really how they should transform their the ITSM to be able to comply with Microsoft new news. So this will give you, we're going to provide you with all those kind of investigation and templates. So you just have to download a template, and we will give you, in a matter of minutes, a complete overview of your environment, depending on this topic. Same thing for the dashboards and trend analysis. You're going to have downloadable templates, and every month we release new information so that you can keep track on the news and make sure your IT environment is compliant with any kind of new thing happening in the market. A quick thing about the way we integrate with other systems. We have data integration in one way, and also integration on any kind of system. So the number one integration we have is for CCM, because as we complement any kind of other solutions, we can easily integrate with CCM out of the box. So if you have procedures of a CCM already, we don't require you to completely reinvent your procedures. Nexthink can be used standalone, but can also push information very easily to existing processes. So if you have any ticketing system, any management system, or even some network platforms that you want to integrate with, Nexthink can provide a very standard and customizable way to push information to this other system. We also have a way for you to integrate the Nexthink information into other systems. Like, let me give you a quick example. We have, for example, some Excel reports that can connect directly by scripting to the Nexthink to give you a complete report of your environment in some very, very usable facts. Example, let me give you this quick example here on the PDF. When you need to replace a machine, it's very hard for you to understand what is the status of your machines right now, because maybe you don't need to replace 2,000 machines right now, but maybe you just need to replace a few of them and upgrade other ones. To reduce the cost, just having some memory upgrades or hard drive upgrades. Because Nexthink understand the actual use of your IT environment, machine by machines, we are capable to give you an easy to understand report to tell you out of those devices that you were supposed to replace, maybe some can be easily kept, and some just be rebuilt with some minor upgrades. With this, you have a direct information on how you can reduce the cost of a complete device replacement program. Another example, because we know how much you print, because we have a direct access again to the scheduler. So here we have some complete report or what departments and what user, what kind of use of the printer is being done. So if you have a green IT initiative, this could be a very important things to target to reduce the printing cost, as well as energy saving, for example. You can keep track of all the machines being kept on all nights. So by a simple policy change, you can force all the users to turn off the machine at night. So all those kind of valuable information is all gathered into one single platform, which is Nexthink. We have the knowledge coming with analytics. We have all this information coming to one single place, and we analyze it to give you straightforward indications. Those are a few examples of integration we can do. Again, very easily. Our appliance is a Linux-based appliance. It's very easy to make it flexible, to make it customizable to any system you have. We just need to sit down with you, and you give us the syntax of what kind of command you want our system to send to your network, your firewall management, your desktop management, and Nexthink can send messages easily to those systems as alerts or as any kind of information system you want. So this is kind of the overview of the system. Again, Nexthink provides a lot of information, and we can target this information into the three major systems, which is security, ITSM, and transformation. Today, I just wanted to show you a brief example on how we can show value and reduce the cost of your IT directly from a single source of information, pre-compiled, analyzed with some small algorithms, so you can make decisions in a matter of few clicks. So now to some questions to give more details about this presentation. I have a few questions already coming on to the chat system. So there's one recurring questions about the implementation, because of course it's nice to have this kind of platform, but people always wonder how complex it is. I have a quick. This is the way the platform is done. I won't go too technical about it, but to understand the ID, it's very simple. The first thing you need to do is you need to install the engine, which is going to be the brain of the platform. That engine is the easiest thing to deploy that you can ever see. It's an ISO file. You just have to give me the hardware, and in a matter of 1 hour, the engine is running. Everything is included into this Linux system. Our R&D developer system has been completely configuring this Linux system. So the database is inside, everything is pre-configured. There's absolutely nothing to do, just deploying the ISO and giving him an IP, and that's it. So in a matter of 1 hour, you have the engine running. The only thing you need to do after is to deploy a very, very light driver that we call the collector on Windows or Mac machines. So this is, depending on the size of the customers, it can take a few days or it can take a few hours, but after this system, that's it. Once you have an engine running and the collector being installed on Windows or Mac machines, then the data flows automatically to the engine, and the engine starts compiling and making analysis of this data. So in a matter of days, you have valuable information already coming to your system. So another quick questions. So about training and certifications, yes, we have training. Again, this system is built from the ground up to be extremely easy to deploy and to use. So the training overview to have a complete understanding and administration of the Finder to make the .NET Client to make investigations, it's about 2 days. And to be able to build customized dashboards and to provide a complete customized to business portal, it's about 2 days also. So it's a very, again, on the implementation side and on the training side, it's a matter of days. So this solution will not require a complete 6-month or 1-year deployment program. In a matter of days, you have this running. Another question about, I can see from the size of the customer. Okay, so this solution is completely flexible in terms of the size. The average size of the customer, it's very hard to say because it can be some very small IT department with about 100 and 200 machines to a massive organization that has hundreds of thousands of machines. So to give you an idea of it, the biggest customer of Nexthink, as a reference, is the Ministry of Defense of France, and they actually monitor 250,000 machines. And all the information of those 250,000 machines are gathered into one single place. So a small team of people can actually figure out the entire usage of the complete environment of the Ministry of Defense of France. Another question about the licensing system. The license system is based on the amount of machines you want to monitor. So it's by endpoints. It's not about by user, it's not by application, it's by endpoint. So even if you have 100 machines, but they access 200 different kind of applications with maybe 3 or 4 users per machine, we only count the number of machines monitored. And again, this is very flexible. We have a different system, perpetual or by subscriptions. The sales team would be more than happy to answer this. But again, because we want to keep everything completely easy to use, we need to have a complete flexible system. So if you want to evolve later on to put more applications and more machines in the monitoring, this is completely flexible. So I think I've answered most of the question here. You have my contacts here, so don't hesitate to contact the exit team or myself from Nexthink. If you have any questions, please contact us and we'll be more than happy to help you. We can do some easy demos, easy POCs right on the spot like we did today for this webinar. So any question, please send them over. Thank you very much for your attention. See you very soon. Bye-bye.